us a very important lesson. Are you ready? Are you ready to learn the lesson that Peter was taught? Or are you too old? You've been a Christian for just too long. You're not ready to learn another gospel truth. Or maybe you've been a Christian for so long, maybe you're educated. Maybe you've got lots of the Bible memorized. You know it front and back. You know you can recite verses. And that's a great thing to be able to do. Are you ready to learn the lesson that Peter learned today? Me, I have to stand in the way. I have to get out of my own way. Because, I've got some education behind me. That just gets in the way sometime of learning just basic biblical truth. Today is a day to learn a truth. But are we ready to learn it? We got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of wind and waves of our lives. What's going to happen in our future? It's a weird time for us in the Christian church. We got this huge building with few numbers. What are we going to do? Oh, the wind and waves of our future is blowing. It's scary. What is the future of the church even going to look like? Are there going to be multiple congregations gathered in one building? We don't know the wind and waves of our future. We just don't know. And it is scary. We got our ideas and our hopes and our dreams. But we just don't know. All that we have is faith. Faith. Are our hearts and minds and spirits open to learn from Jesus today? And learn the lesson of Peter, walking on water and sinking and being saved by Jesus? Are we ready? Are we ready? I want to grow in Jesus. But there's a part of me that wants to grow and learn how to play the guitar. But the thing about learning to play the guitar is you got to really want it, and you got to do the work. And sometimes I like eating snacks and watching TV, binge watching old series, more than practicing the guitar. So apparently I don't like practicing the guitar or playing the guitar that much. I think a lot of us say to ourselves, well, I want to grow in faith, but am I willing to do the work? Maybe I'm a little too arrogant. Maybe I'm not going to listen to that pastor. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That young whippersnapper. No. If we want something, by faith, I believe we can get it. By faith, putting our trust in Jesus, I want it. I had TMJ. You know what TMJ is? Anybody here not know what TMJ? It's a jaw disorder where your jaw doesn't line up right. I had it for years and years and years. My jaw clicked and clacked. I got headaches, and it was miserable. And the thing is, when I ate a sandwich, like a roast beef sandwich, I couldn't get my teeth to close just right to cut through the meat. I could go through the bread, but I couldn't cut through the meat, so I pulled the sandwich out, and then the meat would just flop out like that. Every time. I hated eating sandwiches. Melanie made me sandwiches and eat them, and I try to figure out a way to eat them and kind of get it in the back there and see if I could cut through it. Having TMJ was terrible. So one day, I went to a new dentist. And the dentist is reading my chart, and he says, "Oh, you have TMJ." I said, "Yep, I sure do." And he says, "Tell me about it." And I told him what I just told you. The sandwich thing. Yeah, I had headaches, and it clicked and clacked, but the sandwich thing was really a pain for me. So he says, I can fix your TMJ, but you're not going to like it. He said, you are not going to like the treatment. Oh, well, he had me. I was intrigued. I said, well, tell me about it. He says, what we would do would be this. He says it doesn't work for everybody, but it does work for quite a few people. That's when we take a splint, we form it to your mouth, exactly, and what we do is we push your jaw forward, your lower jaw forward, and then your jaw, the inflammation will go down, and it will heal because it's not constantly being irritated. And you'll wear that for about 3 months, and you'll wear it in the day and at night. And I did this while I was here. And it was awful because I couldn't talk. It was like I had mush mouth all the time. Young people thought I was wearing braces. Hey, that's pretty cool. Old man wearing braces, yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, I had to wear the first set of splints for 6 months. And it was miserable to have to wear them day and night. The only time I really took them out, I was religious about it. I wanted the TMJ to stop. I wanted to eat sandwiches again. I wanted the headaches to stop. So I made it a point. I suffered through the treatment. But it's only half done. Because now the inflammation had healed. Now, he said, now we have to put your jaw, align it to where it needs to be. And that took another set of splints to realign my jaw to now I do not have TMJ. That took 6 months, by the way. It was a total of a year. I wore those splints, and I am cured of TMJ. I don't get TMJ headaches anymore. I can eat a sandwich, and I can cut through ham, roast beef, you name it, I can eat it. But it was worth it. I could do it. The wind and waves of being able to suffer through something I didn't want to do, but I did it because I believed I would be healed from my TMJ. And I was, and I am. And it's awesome. But the treatment was terrible. But I did it. I need to do that with the guitar. And I think any of us need to do that if we want to move forward in anything in life. So, thus. So, looking back over the course of my life, the majority of my learning and growth, especially my spiritual growth, came from mistakes, missteps, failures, arrogance, pride, lack of faith, or simply put by way of an uncomfortable process, like maybe I didn't want to go through some process like wearing splints for a year. Perhaps the greatest spiritual lesson taught and learned in the Gospels, I believe, was Jesus teaching Peter that faith in Jesus. With faith in Jesus, Peter could walk on water. By faith in Jesus, anything is possible. By faith in Jesus, if we keep our eyes locked onto Jesus, I believe we will accomplish anything and everything Jesus bids us do. Remember, Peter says, Jesus, if it's you, bid me come. Jesus says, come. Jesus bids us come in all sorts of situations in life. And we're about ready to face a tough situation. What are we going to do with this building? What are we going to do? Are you scared? Are you worried? Or are you focused on Jesus? Are we focused on the wind and the waves and we don't know what's going to happen? No, we wouldn't, because it's in the future. We don't know what the church will look like. You realize in 10, 15, 20 years, maybe 30 years from now, that congregations will join together to be a powerful force for Christ in an area, instead of just hanging on as just a small church family. We don't know what the future holds, but if we keep our eyes locked in faith on Christ, I believe anything and everything is possible. We will walk on water if we keep our eyes focused on Jesus. Not personal opinions, not my hopes and dreams, but faith in Christ. I believe with all my heart that every life challenge and situation you face, that I face, I believe is a spiritual challenge, like Peter walking on the water. If we keep our eyes, if we're doing it for Jesus who bid us come and do a mission, a thing, whether it's make candy, where's Mary? Mary, if Jesus bid Mary come and she comes and she's making candy and others are getting called by Christ to come and make this candy and make it a ministry, I believe it will happen if we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, or any situation you can possibly imagine in your life. Jesus bids you come, you will come and walk and succeed in that, whatever it is. But it's going to be scary, because there's wind and there's waves and there's our fears that want to draw us away from Jesus. And the second we take our eyes off of Jesus, we've lost it and we sink. Look at how many churches are closing their doors right now. Do we think we're somehow special that will keep our doors open because we're so good looking, or we've got a pastor who's, so good looking? We will succeed by focusing on Jesus and not losing our focus. Because the second we lose our focus, we will sink and those doors will close. Don't think for a second they won't. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm not special, and neither are you. If we take our eyes off of Jesus, we will sink. All the arrogance, all the goodwill, all of the hopes and dreams don't mean anything. The only thing that matters is our faith, our focus on Jesus. And when we lose that, when we take our eyes off for a second, we're done. Now, you heard the law. Now you're going to hear the gospel. And this is, I probably can't do it in the minute I have left, but I'll be close to it. Peter lost his focus and he sank. Yes, Peter failed. But Jesus did not fail. When Peter took his eyes off of Jesus and sank, I believe that had he not called out to Jesus, I believe he would have sunk to the bottom and drowned. I believe that. Do you believe that? Like churches closing their doors because they're too afraid to make any changes. We've always done it this way. The great gospel of traditional church. We haven't done it any other way than that. When Peter took his eyes off of Jesus due to fear of the wind and the waves, he sank. But he had presence of mind. He had experience with Jesus. Imagine now, at this point in the gospel, in the 14th chapter of Matthew's gospel, Jesus and Matthew and Peter and all of the disciples have been traveling with Jesus for probably well over a year, maybe going on 2 years by now. And Peter had seen all of Jesus' miracles, and he cried out to Jesus in faith and said, "Save me." Jesus reached down and scooped him up and put him in the boat. But Jesus gave him a little scolding, as Melanie would say, my wife, scolding like with a wet noodle. Jesus said, "Why didn't you believe? Where's your faith? Where's your faith? Where's your faith? I'm right here. You were walking on water. You were doing great." But Peter had the presence of mind to call out to Jesus in faith, and Jesus saved him. And I believe that's true. I have failed so many times in my life. I can tell you that Jesus is full of grace and love and kindness. And I fail and fail and fail. And if you're honest with yourself, so do you. You honest with yourself? Maybe we're a little too arrogant. But I'm telling you, we all fail. But Jesus is with us. But I'm going to encourage you. Yes, take your eyes off of Jesus and sink. Call out to Jesus and you're saved. No harm, no foul. But I do believe had Peter not called out, I think he would have drowned. Jesus would have had to go out looking for a new head disciple. Just like if we take our eyes off of Jesus and those doors close, we don't call out to Jesus in faith, yeah, I do believe the doors will close. And we're going to fail time and time again, but we got to keep calling out, keep reaching to Jesus, keep calling, Jesus, save us, and get back on track. Focus on Jesus. Don't forget. Remember His power, His grace, His might, His saving power that has saved you. Just think, one day you're going to be face to face with Jesus. What a great day that would be. But in the meantime, let us come and walk on the water and be brave and not be distracted by anything. And stay focused on Jesus. And if we do sink, we call out. Jesus will save us. And then readjust our focus on Christ.